everyone! So today I'm going to be reacting to a video LGR posted today called Tamagotchi CD-ROM, the 1997 digital pet on PC. Okay, so I know I said like I wanted to do more reactions from LGR whenever you post something that like I find interesting, and this is definitely one of them. You might think this is kind of random for a video I would post as a reaction, but I just recently bought a Tamagotchi like the other day. Actually, we need to check on him. So let's see how he's doing. Let's get all the sounds in this. He's pretty hungry and he needs some playing with. So let's play with him really quick. Now, I don't know if you guys ever had one of these as a kid. Oh. He literally just shat in the middle of the game. And he quit the game. Alright, well, you know what? I'm making a video. We'll clean that up later. I can't believe that. I've never experienced that. Anyways, I'm going to be reacting to this video, and I have a lot of memories with the Tamagotchi as a kid. Well, kind of, sort of. I really only remember wanting to get one really bad, my sister and I, or mostly me, and then getting it the day after Christmas, 1997, at the Toys R Us. Anyways, but I want to react to the video because I don't know what this is about the digital pet on PC. I never had the Tamagotchi CD-ROM. Well, I've always only had this. So let's just see what that's all about, because I have no idea.
Well, greetings and welcome to.
Swear, they are so freaking needy when you first hatch them. I know this because I just bought, like I said, I just bought this like the other day, and the first, I don't even want to say like 24 hours, I would say like the first 30 minutes was the most stressful of my life. Like, it was beeping constantly. I didn't know what to do. I had to read the manual, and yeah, it was stressful. Anyways,
First time ever playing with a Tamagotchi. These little electronic virtual pets that were introduced in 1997, at least here in the US.
And his is different. So this is like one of the newer ones. I just got this at Walmart, and the food choices isn't a candy or bread. It's a hamburger or cake, and that's something like I've noticed that's different.
And I very much remember seeing these when they were new and the hype around them, and even a couple of my friends had them, but I never had one myself. It was just one of those things that was very big, and then it seemed like it wasn't, and I kind of forgot about it. And every so often, there's some cultural reference to it, or something reminds me of it, and well, that happened a couple of years ago when I was just randomly browsing eBay for big box games, and ran across this here, Tamagotchi CD-ROM. Specifically the Windows 95 release developed by 7th Level in cooperation with Bandai Digital Entertainment in 1997.
1997 was a great year for me, by the way. I was in 7th grade, and that was when I started to be like really kind of like making bad choices. I wouldn't say making bad choices, but like it was the year that I started like rebelling against my parents a bit, like just a little bit, like wearing the baggy clothes, you know, that sort of thing. Oh yeah, but I still loved Hanson. Mbop. It's always a favorite of mine. Still is.
Get the handhelds that just came out a couple of months before this. Now it's for your computer and is apparently great fun for the home or office. Whose office?
Mine. I would definitely have it on my office computer.
I can't imagine too many workplaces that would be open to such a silly thing.
Oh, see?
Oh, I think my Tamagotchi just evolved. Yeah, he's a weird little ghost blob now. Anyway, I was gonna say that the US version is one thing, but
the when it looks like it's at this stage, it looks like a hand flicking you off with the little thing on his head. That's what I thought anyway.
There's also a Japanese game, also called Tamagotchi CD-ROM, by a totally different developer, and that was a Macintosh-compatible Pippin game.
Pippin?
I don't see too many of those,
a dog named Pippin.
Had to justify its existence, though it wasn't long before a Windows 95 port was released, each of which had some fantastic packaging as seen in this video by Pierre Dandemont on YouTube, with the egg-style packaging cracking open in the middle to reveal the CD-ROM and other contents. Unfortunately, the one here in the US, while it is in a bigger box, is far less interesting to look at in terms of art style and the fact that it's just a regular box and doesn't open like an egg. Though there was also this hang tag variant that, while being smaller, did open up with a gatefold cover, which is something. Yeah, whatever. However it opens, it is a fascinating release of a computer game to me because it's sort of a direct competitor to the physical toy. And it
I want to read like these. It's gonna take me a little bit, but I want to read these articles. Okay, so the first sentence here on this article, there is, of course, one type of pet which you can happily abandon immediately after the Christmas period. The virtual pet. I mean, that's true. I mean, that's how I did. I mean, it took about a month, though. Okay, so this sentence says, you will now find the Tamagotchi for the PC and Tamagotchi for the Game Boy in your local high street shop. My sister had a Game Boy, and we never had that game. Bandai has realized that Tamagotchi appeal to girls more than they do to boys. And I find that interesting because when I was in 7th grade in health class, that was the time when you did like the whole egg baby thing. And I remember everybody in my school or all of my classmates wanting us to use the Tamagotchi as our baby, I guess, like to carry around, like to do that whole health project thingy, instead of an actual egg. And I remember the teachers were like, no, like they were so against this because it would always go off in the middle of class. And it was so loud, and everyone had one, and the teachers absolutely hated these things. But we absolutely loved them, and we really wanted them as our egg baby back in the day. But they said, no, you had to stick with the baby, egg, a real baby. As if we didn't freaking hard boil another egg every day. Like, we had, like, 5 on standby. Like, this is more accurate because this will tell you when it actually dies. I mean, you can't, I mean, like, say, like, it dies and it's, like, it's at the stage now where it's a little bit older. If you hatch another egg baby, well, I guess you probably could get away with it. I don't know. Anyways, I'm just saying, everybody wanted these instead of the egg baby. Anyways.
Of a computer game to me because it's sort of a direct competitor to the physical toy, and it only cost a few dollars more than that at $20 US, which the electronic handheld
this was
version,
$20
by the way, was
too.
one of the
Same
hottest
price.
toy fads in North America in 1997, selling 3.5 million Tamagotchi units in the US in the first month alone. Initially on May 1st, 1997, at FAO Schwartz stores in New York, San Francisco, and Toronto, and June 15th everywhere else.
I love to see a man like that pick up the toy and his delight in his face. It's nice to see the inner child. I can tell you that the inner child right now is very happy with this toy. I've been wanting to buy one for a long time, and I finally broke down and bought one, and I've been so happy. I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah. In theory, the thing was often sold out for months after its launch, and many stores limited units to just 1 or 2 per customer.
$17.99, one per customer. Tamagotchi, the virtual reality.
That's crazy.
I gotta have 2. We can only do 1.
It's like the freaking stock market. It's like, it's so crazy. This.
I'm 5 years old. What do I do?
What do I do? I got 2 kids that are 5 years old. What do I do? What do I do? Oh God.
This launch window scarcity led to an immediate opening for lower cost competitors like Gigapets, for example, as well as multiple other electronic pet
I've never
things
played anything other than the Tamagotchi as a kid. I never played anything else.
rode the Tamagotchi coattails, as well as establishing their own lasting fan bases, but the Tamagotchi were the king of this particular niche back then. With many in the media wanting to call it the pet rock of the 90s, okay. Thankfully, it was quite a bit more involved than that.
A little bit,
It
just
is
a little bit more.
Battery
Just a little bit.
operated
Just a little bit.
electronic interactive video game handheld thingy.
But it's actually kind of cool that this is a keychain. It's not really like, in my opinion, it's not really, well, it is handheld, obviously, you can hold it in your hand, but it's like a keychain. So it's like the most interactive keychain that I think you could buy, especially at that time. And I don't know, are there any other keychains like this that are like this interactive? Like right now? Probably. I don't know.
I don't know, just with as many
I don't know
endless
either.
articles and news stories there were about it, they had to compare it to some other previously popular toy. And my goodness,
Beanie
the tone of
Babies.
so many of these.
My God, the Beanie Babies end up being worth absolutely nothing. By the way, remember when we used to put them in like plastic sandwich bags, like that's a whole nother. We're not gonna get on that.
These headlines and what they were trying to go for, like, ooh, what is this Tamagotchi thing from overseas? Is it a fad? Is it a threat? Will it ruin our children's brains? You know, your
GTA.
typical 90s stuff, including saying that it was targeted at teenage and younger girls, and perhaps that was marketing's intent, but I don't personally remember that being the case. In fact, all the friends and acquaintances I knew that had one were little dudes.
Yeah.
Virtual alien pets are
Look at
pretty
my
broadly
school.
appealing if you ask me.
Look at this. Oh, this footage. Oh, that's cool.
But regardless, most of the coverage from 97 I found focuses on how challenging it is to raise a Tamagotchi, and some of the quotes are pretty amusing. Like this article here saying that this girl's pet was alive at press time, which just cracks me up. The implication being that it's probably dead now. Or this one here from a teenager saying, I've killed about 4 of them. I think I'm an abusive parent.
Joking about how she cares for her Tamagotchi. Hey, that girl was 19, so she did that on purpose, definitely.
Yeah, the media really
Maybe that was when she was younger, though. Maybe.
latched onto this narrative that it was this parental simulation, and what does it imply for how our kids are learning how to become parents?
Pets
and,
beep worse
I don't
than
know.
birth.
After playing it, it's just not that involved.
Nah,
or
it's
serious
not.
whatsoever.
It ain't that big of a deal. It ain't that deep. Come on now. That's-
And that simplicity and broad appeal continues to be appealing as they still release new versions of Tamagotchi every few
That's
years.
crazy.
And they've sold more than
I find that so
91
crazy.
million units since 1996.
I mean, when I went to the store, this was the last one that they had. This was the last one they had. And I was like, wow.
And that's only the little electronic
want that
toys
shirt.
that did everything else you
I
could
want
in
that
the 90s
shirt.
in terms of tie-in marketing. Practically
Cute.
everything but a cartoon. Oh wait, no, they did that too, multiple times over, starting with the 1997
What?
anime series in Japan. And a VHS
What?
produced to coincide, presumably, with
didn't
the
know that.
CD-ROM game called Tamagotchi Video Adventures. Reportedly as a
Look at what? That was Bill Clinton.
game
Look,
called Tamagotchi Video Adventures.
Bill Clinton. Come on, you can't go.
Reportedly as a
1997.
failed pilot for an American English TV show, which never happened. And having watched this, I see why. But anyway, speaking of the
I want to
CD-ROM,
see that. I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna watch that.
this
I'll
Windows
find it
PC
somewhere.
iteration hit store shelves in November of 1997, just a handful of months after the US launch. Round about the same time frame as the Game Boy adaptation, which is not at all the same thing, to be clear. This iteration of Tamagotchi CD-ROM is a fully unique title developed by Seventh Level, the same folks behind all kinds of mediocre shite, to be honest. I mean, there's a few solid standouts here and there. They did the
Vinegar shites. Oh, they're the best though, I bet. Let me
Monty
see.
Python desktop
Barney Goes to the Circus. I want to play that. Oh, it's educational.
games and Genome, but they also did Take Your Best Shot and Arcade America, and just a really mixed bag of stuff. But yeah, the Tamagotchi CD-ROM, it makes sense that they would want to fast-track its release, seeing as the Dogs and Cats games
I've never played
in
that. Never
1995
played
and
it. Never played that.
1996, respectively, had already sold at least 1.5 million units, proving that
Slip
virtual pet
uppers.
games could take off on the PC. Now, did Tamagotchi CD-ROM come even close to those numbers? All evidence points to nope. You
Didn't
can
think so.
find a few loose copies here and there, but the boxes are far less common, at least for the US 7th level game. The Japanese game seems to have sold a little better, and I assumed it would have done okay here in the US.
Wow,
on
look at
brand
these
recognition alone.
prices. Like $417. CD-ROM. Why is that one so much more than the others? Why?
But considering 7th level practically closed up shop in 1998, I have my doubts. For now, let's unbox this thing.
Oh, it
which
didn't
was
last long.
sealed
Jeez.
until I got it.
Wow.
And inside the box, you
imagine.
get a bit of cardboard, a Bandai Digital Entertainment registration card, a sheet of Tamagotchi
Ooh,
stickers
I want the
with
stickers.
16 of the little
Cute.
alien critters, and a jewel case with the game and the manual in the front. And dang it, whoever put this in there decades ago inserted it with a crease.
Ooh.
Anyway, the game comes on this CD-ROM,
Like that.
and you get a 25-page user
Now
guide,
fix it.
which
Fix.
is way more than enough. The electronic
Yeah,
toy
let me just show you what these are the instructions that came with the little keychain. That's a lot for a keychain. I was surprised.
so simple it was in monochrome. It only had 3 buttons, so there's not a lot to explain here really, although there are some additional features on top of what you normally get with the handhelds, so it's good that that's explained. Once you get its massive 15 megabyte installation taken care of, the game starts up with a cute little hand-drawn looking intro sequence showing some Tamagotchi aliens approaching Earth and then arguing over who has to clean up the poop.
Oh, I gotta do
which
that.
leads
Shoot.
to an altercation, and things go wrong, and well, that's where UFO sightings come from.
Oh, okay. Sure. Huh.
And then because
Okay.
reasons, they leave an egg to explore the planet for
Because
them. I don't
reasons.
know. It really doesn't
Oh,
matter. Either way,
oh.
there's an egg now, and it's up to you to hatch it and take care of it. Beginning with entering your own name and giving your Tamagotchi a
Farts?
nickname.
Oh,
They will have their
flurp,
own
nerb.
name, but this is what it's
Flurp,
going to be
nerp.
referred to in game for the most part. And then you're given a little window with a little egg unhatching scene. Congratulations! It's a
It looks like a blackhead.
blob. And it's also a really small window. And it's going to always be windowed, no matter what.
That's
and
annoying.
It actually does very bad at scaling up, even at 640 by 480. And also, there's this annoying flashing that never really goes away, both in the title bar
Why?
and the taskbar. And this just wasn't going to do, so I immediately rectified it by going into the Windows color
Oh,
settings
wow.
and changing the active and inactive windows to the same color, which did the trick. I don't know what they were thinking about with that endless flashing. It's a
3D!
Tamagotchi game. It's not Mardi Gras.
Right?
But yeah, now that we're into the game itself, you can see that it uses the canceled American TV show pilot as its art style, with all that squiggly line animation, trendy 90s stuff. Of course, this itself was inspired by the boxes and promo art used by all the Tamagotchi toys. So in that respect, I think it certainly works. It's a fun reimagining of the monochrome toy. Though the user interface is pretty much unchanged from the Generation 1 Tamas, with a row of 4 options at the top and bottom, letting you feed them, adjust the lights, play with them, medicate them, clean up their poo, look at their stats, discipline them, and the indicator in the bottom right showing that something needs attention. And really, at this point, if you play the keychain version, especially the Gen 1, then you've already seen 90% of what you can do here. You just get a different aesthetic, and of course, you're using a computer mouse instead of your stubby little fingers pushing tiny little buttons.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's kind of hard.
Need a refresher. The overview is that you need to keep them from dying, and that begins by feeding them either a full-size meal or a snack. Oh, how cute. Until they take a big old dump on your screen, and of course that means you gotta clean it up, which is done by a single click. And then every so often they will randomly get sick. And yeah, as far as I can tell, it really is random, both on the keychain toy and the software. But thankfully, as long as you catch it before you see that skull hanging around for too long, you can just
I don't score right.
drown them and die until they're all good.
Time
The final major need to worry about with Tamas is playtime, which is accomplished by 3 different minigames on the CD-ROM. With the first one being the same game that you get on the keychain, which is the left-right game, and it's awful. You just guess whether or not they're going to face left or right. As far as I know, there's no real strategy here.
This one
other
has
than
a numbers
playing the
game.
odds. And same goes for the second minigame, which is just a shell game, except that it plays the exact same canned little animation every time the shells are spinning, so you genuinely do
Yeah,
have
what the
timing
heck?
to go on. It's pure
What?
luck.
Yeah,
Really,
that's
the
weird.
only minigame on this CD... Hold on. He's just unhappy.
Uh,
He'll be fine. Anyway, yeah, really the only mini game worth messing around with is the Breakout clone. And yeah, it's more
that looks
Breakout
fun.
than Arkanoid. You do get some different designs to knock down and some different types of blocks to knock out, but there's no power-ups. You're not getting special abilities or anything. It's just the most basic, straightforward thing, and it wins best game by default because at least there's some skill involved.
Ooh, the sounds sound nice. Like
Yeah,
that.
these minigames really are awful, especially because you have to play them constantly in order to
Oh.
keep your little alien normal. Even some of the little keychain games are better. Like on the Gen 2, you have this number guessing
that's the
game.
one I
You
have.
press
That's the one I
either
have.
the left button
Yeah.
if you think the number is going to be lower, or the right button if it's going to be higher. And at least there's a little bit of skill involved, since you know how many numbers there are between 1 and 10, so you can kind of guess which way it's going to go. It's not much, but it's slightly more engaging
Yeah.
than guessing left or right.
Right.
And
Yeah,
then finally, the main other thing to worry about here is discipline. And that is relatively rare if you go about it properly. I mean, you can just discipline them at any time, but that's not exactly recommended. Really, you just press it whenever they're being...
I was actually confused about like the discipline bar because was that mine? Oh shoot! You know what? I'm sorry, Tommy. Hold on. Let me clean this up. Shoot! Oh no! I really gotta like take care of him, guys. He's hungry and he has poop on his next to him. Oh my god! He's disciplining me. Or he's gonna make me discipline him. He doesn't want to eat. I'm trying to feed him. He needs to eat and he doesn't want to. So I have to discipline him. Speaking of the disciplining... Okay, sorry. I was confused. I was confused on the discipline bar because I wasn't sure if like you should discipline him or if that was a bad thing if you had to discipline him. Like what happens when the discipline bar goes all the way up. And it actually, I read on Google, it actually means that like you're doing a good job as a parent because he's going to stop being so naggy when it comes to, I don't know, needing things, even if it's for nothing. So it's good that you actually discipline him when he needs to be disciplined, because then he won't be so needy because you have taught him that he can't get away with that shit. So so it's good that you actually discipline him. So I did just now because he was yelling at me for no reason. Well, he was eating food, but then I went to give him food and he declined it. So I had to discipline him because he needs to eat. And anyways, I'm like way too into this. This is embarrassing. Anyways.
Stupid about something like not wanting to eat the 50th
See?
pizza you've given them
50th.
today, or not wanting to play the shell game for the 100th time. Actually, on second thought, I get why they're grumpy, but you still got to discipline. Otherwise, according to the manual, bad care will result in an unattractive outcome.
Unattractive. They call it unattractive. Well, it's just like they'll behave better. They'll be better behaved.
It says repeatedly that it'll be cute if it's healthy and happy, but if neglected, it will grow into an unattractive creature.
I wonder if that's the same on these instructions. Let me see, because... Where's English? It says the same thing. It says, if you neglect to discipline Tamagotchi character when needed, it might grow up into an unattractive, bad-mannered alien. Okay, so I guess it's still saying it's going to be unattractive, but, like, all the aliens are cute little things. How is that unattractive? I can see how it would be bad-mannered, but anyway.
Whatever that means.
I know, right?
I don't know. Like looking at the growth.
That's what I
of what
say.
they can evolve into. They all look pretty cute to me.
I know, that's what I
So
say.
yeah, if your goal is to get them to look a certain way, then you want to take care of them to a certain degree. And they will continue to evolve, which of course can be sped along by changing the time and date on your computer's clock. Something you can also do on the keychain in terms of skipping ahead hours, but yeah, on the computer you can skip ahead whole days, so feel free to exploit that as much as you want. Just don't go too far ahead, because it's very easy to kill them. Which in this CD-ROM version, death happens by way of UFO abduction. Yeah, it's less of a death and more of a return home, I guess. I mean, they still turn into an angel, but right after that, they send you a postcard from space saying that they enjoyed their time on Earth, but they got to peace out. a little bit less traumatizing than the more
But
straightforward.
a wheelie had to go. A
keychain.
wheelie had to
I
go.
can just imagine being a
Aww.
kid, waking up and seeing your Tamas expired just because you had to sleep. Which brings me to what is perhaps the largest addition to this CD-ROM game, and that is the Tamagotchi Care Center. Which, yeah, basically you can drop your Tamagotchi off in there and let the game take care of them for you while you're away so that you don't have to sit at your computer at all hours of the day. Which, yeah, in the 90s, I mean, unless you had a laptop, you're probably not going to be around your computer all the time. But there is a caveat in that it's only 85% effective at taking care of your Tamas, and that effectiveness lowers every 24 hours that you leave them in the daycare.
Oh, wow.
Information that
Really?
you get during the installation
Imagine if that's how it was for real children.
of the game, and only if you scroll down and read all of it, yeah, it's kind of been
If you're saying you're checking diagnosis is not a result of care received in the care center, the time will go sick whether or not visits care center. The care center would administer time to not check it out. Care center while sick. Who does not answer the sick calls immediately. Give time for the owner to respond. What is that? The owner does not respond and leaves. Tamagotchi in the care center. The care center will eventually administer the medicine to the Tamagotchi. Remember to use the baby care center only when necessary. It is always better to take care of your Tamagotchi yourself.
I lost a good few of my
What?
Tamagotchi
I'm gonna read that whole thing in full because that is crazy.
And then they just died. Or, sorry, went back to the mother planet or whatever.
Wow, damn.
I'm not terribly impressed with this CD-ROM iteration.
So it's like they added the daycare, but it's like they don't really want you to use it. Interesting.
The Tamagotchi Gen 1
Why did they add it then?
If you can't
Oh, I
tell.
guess they kind of had to.
I mean, there's cute sound effects and animations and you get different backgrounds. There is technically more going on. But I don't know, it's too simple with none of the portable appeal and charm of carrying one of these
I
things
love
around
having this one with me
taking care of it
everywhere.
day to day. Like
Yeah,
unless you had
my
a
little
laptop
baby.
or something. And no kid of reasonable means had a laptop in 1997. And really, just as a virtual pet game on a computer, it pales in comparison to the other things that are out there. Like, give me the pets games over this any day. Cats, dogs, oddballs, babies, whatever, man. Any of them are more interactive, dynamic, hands-on desktop toys. Heck, even give me boring Fin, who's just an alien.
I love that
dolphin
video,
bird
by the
that
way.
steals at you every so often.
Eat the dang food.
Well, this has been a really silly,
I love
pointless
that.
thing to
What's
critique.
why is that dolphin and
It's
a
fine,
bird?
I guess I would have
Dolphin
been
bird.
amused enough by it as a little kid, but you know, so much of the appeal of having a Tamagotchi is carrying them around with
Well,
you
this
in
has
your
a different
pocket or on a
keychain
keychain. And
thing.
when you take all that away, it's just a stationary PC program that you mess around with every time you're at your computer, and half the time it sort of takes care of itself through the daycare. Then, yeah, there's just not a lot of appeal there. Oh, but it also came with a screensaver. Let's not forget. Maybe that's its saving grace.
Why?
It's just the same game. It loads it up and lets it sit there, and you can't interact with it. When you move the mouse, it closes it. It's a bad screensaver in several ways. Not the least of which is
Did you see where he was sitting? Did you see where he was sitting in settings and it wouldn't do
There's just
anything?
not a lot of appeal there.
Look.
Oh, but it also came with a screensaver. Let's not forget. Maybe that's its saving grace. Nope, it's just the same game. It loads it up
Oh
and
my
lets it sit
God.
there,
I can't-
and you
why?
can't interact with it. When you move the mouse, it closes it. It's a bad screensaver in several ways, not the least of which is it leaves most of your screen static, and only the little Tamagotchi moves around every so often. It's crap. So anyway, I'm just going to stick to playing around with the keychain games because honestly, it's just fun to experience them for the first time. Like, they're even more simple than the PC, but at least they're always with you. And so you don't really think about it until it beeps at you and you take care of its poop and feed it some cake and then move on with your day. Anyway, yeah, that is all for this episode of LGR, and I hope that you enjoyed taking a
That was
look
very
at this
good.
Tamagotchi
That's fun.
CD-ROM with me, and let me know if you had this back in the day, if you had any fondness for it, or you kind of found it disappointing like I did, or, you know, just your Tamagotchi memories in general, or any of the other competitors, because my goodness, there were so many of these things in the late 90s. And stick around for new videos, always in the works, here on LGR. And as usual, thank you for watching.
Thank you so much. Wow, that was interesting. I found that very, very delightful to watch because I have one, like I said, showed you a billion times. But yeah, I hope you guys like this video too. I would love to react to more of LGR's content, so I hope you guys like it. Let me know if there's anything you guys want me to react to in the comment section. And I should be making more reactions. I'd love to get into it more often to make reactions. So go ahead and subscribe. But I guess that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next video.